Hey all, today we're taking a look at the Milt Sparks Versa Max 2 for the 1911. Let's get into it. Now if you like this content, like, sub, shares, all that good stuff, really appreciate it. Also down below, coupon codes and merch to help support the channel. So this is a inside the waistband holster. It has a metal reinforced mouth. This is for a full-size 1911. Something about Milt Sparks. So Milt Sparks is very highly regarded in the holster making world. Their lead times are, well, at the making of this video, I believe about a year. So very sought after holster, and let's talk about it. So we're going to start with Craftsmanship, and I think you definitely get what you pay for. This is a rather expensive holster, and again, they've got about a year wait at the filming of this. You get what you pay for, I would say, because the craftsmanship on this is really nice. The stitching is all held up. I've had a chance to wear this holster now kind of like several days all day. So I've really gotten to, break it in the sense that like if it was going to start giving me an issue, it probably would have done it by now. Stitching is really nice. They do a reinforced mouth here. So as far as I know, this is basically just a metal band that is sewn in. And what it does is it helps hold the holster open. So say you were to draw the gun and need to reholster, you wouldn't have to be fighting with a floppy holster that may or may not have closed on you, get stuck in the trigger guard, who knows, any number of things that would make, reholstering a more difficult task than it needs to be. The reinforced mouth holds that holster open for you. They have really nice snaps on here. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think it's like a directional snap that it only opens one way. So if I tug on it from left or right or up or on the bottom, it doesn't open. But the second I pop it from the top, it snaps open really easy, and they both do that. That's really nice because I've tried out some cheaper versions of a holster this style, and I believe that's actually the Craft holster that I tried out, and I ended up having issues where the snap would come undone when you didn't want it to, right? It ended up being kind of annoying because if this comes undone, you got this hanging out underneath your shirt and it starts looking kind of awkward. So you really don't want that to happen. These have had no issue. They've never come undone without me wanting them to. So that's really nice. Back of the holster is definitely flatter than the front. So it's nice that they molded it that way so you have more of a flat back style against your body, which is really nice for comfort because, as I've explained with a lot of revolver holsters, this is always for a 1911. But when you have the bulge on this side of the holster, it can start to dig into you and start to give you discomfort. Overall, this holster feels very stiff and definitely feels like something that you would probably be able to wear for a very, very long time without it wearing out. So I'm going to stick the gun in the holster, right, and it slides in really nice. No break-in time whatsoever, which was really nice because, some of the leather holsters I've gotten, they're good holsters, but they take a little bit to break in, and that first week can kind of, be a little bit stiff, and you kind of have to walk around the house more because you don't want to walk around, outside with a stiff to draw holster. This one comes out really smooth. First time, no issues. It was definitely not requiring any kind of break-in. Fitment on this is really nice. I can get a full firing grip without issue, and I've got pretty big hands, and there's still a little bit of space left over, right? I have one small nitpick. Now, I like a high sweat guard, and this does have a sweat guard, and it does ride up pretty much a little bit past the frame of the gun. I wish it had just gone a little bit higher up here, kind of like I've seen some of the holsters that just a little, maybe add a little more half inch to that area. Reason for that is when you walk around all day, it's very comfortable. Even sitting normally, it was very comfortable. The only time when I noticed when I was kind of like leaned forward driving a little bit, I did every once in a while I would feel that hammer a little bit. Not the end of the world, and definitely not as bad as some of the holsters I've had without a sweat guard, but I would have liked to have seen it just a little bit taller. But that's a very minor thing, and again, I think that's more the fact that, I've probably put on a couple extra pounds getting married, something about good cooking or something. I don't know how that happened. My wife's actually a really good cook, so I know exactly how it happened. I think if that wasn't the case, if you're a little bit leaner than I am, you wouldn't have that issue. I just noticed that a little bit, so no big deal. Overall, the craftsmanship on this holster, I'm extremely impressed. It's not a cheap holster, but you definitely get what you pay for. Let's see how it conceals. Okay, so here we are at everybody's favorite camera angle, crotch cam, and I'm wearing the holster. and I'm going to do a little rotate, and as you can see, it's gone. I'm carrying a full size 1911, and apart from the fact that occasionally if I like pull my shirt a little bit to one way, you get a little tiny bit of a hint of the grip, the holster completely conceals the gun. I've even put on just a plain shirt here instead of like something like a Hawaiian shirt or something that I tend to wear because it's always hot here in Arizona. So I'm going to pull the shirt aside, and the gun rides very nice and tight against your body. That aggressive cant really does a good job of keeping the butt of the gun concealed. Even if I pull this tight here again, you can see the outline of the gun, but it's really pressed against your body and it's definitely not sticking out. So draw on this is really nice. For instance, again, as I said, I can get a full firing grip, up, out, no problem. And then even with the gun out of the belt or out of the holster is held open by that metal reinforcement, making reholstering very nice and smooth. So that metal reinforcement is really what helps set apart, this from maybe a cheaper variant of this style holster, because, it helps keep the holster open and makes reholstering, which can be as important as unholstering, very easy to do. As far as comfort, it's very comfortable, about as comfortable as I think you could probably get with an inside the waistband holster, especially with a large handgun like a 1911. I gotta say, I've got a proper reinforced gun belt, and then this is definitely the kind of holster you could carry all day long, and that's what I've been doing, 8, 10 hours, put it on in the morning, take it off in the evening when I'm done all my errands and done everything else. Very comfortable, conceals really well, really impressed with this holster. So my final thoughts on the Milt Sparks Versa Max 2 for the 1911. Overwhelmingly positive. Craftsmanship, you can definitely tell this is, good stiff holster that's not going to break down. The metal reinforcement is a really nice touch because it really helps in the one big complaint people have about leather holsters is that over time they can break down and they get soft and then it becomes a floppy mess. Not this with that metal reinforcement that is going to keep that mouth open when you unholster the gun, so reholstering is going to be much easier and safer. The snaps are really nice because I'm able to take the holster off of my belt, put it back on my belt without having to completely undo my belt. I like that they use the One Direction snaps. That's a really nice touch. My only thing my only, critique is I wish this sweat guard was just a little bit higher in the back. Another half inch or so probably would solve the issue I was having. But overall, it's a very comfortable holster. And, while it's a very expensive holster, I think you definitely get what you're paying for. So put down below, have you tried a Milt Sparks? Are you thinking about trying a Milt Sparks? If you have, what do you think about it? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Put down below and have a good day.